It's so much easier to do this after a win. first off, first off, I want to say thank you to Thunder Twitter, Thunder X. We're a huge community of fans. Dropped the link to Game Three's reaction. Got a lot of subscribers from that. As we just started this channel within the last week or so. So want to say thanks for anybody that subscribed that's new, that's coming in. Um, I'll get better at the intros, is what a couple people have already told me. So welcome into the Scale Sports game reaction. This is for Game 4 of the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers NBA Finals Series. Talking about Game 4, Oklahoma City pulls out a 111-104 win over the Indiana Pacers, ties the series at 2-2. Going back to Paycom, Oklahoma City at home for Game 5 takes back home court advantage. The best of 7 series now turns into a best of 3. First team to win 2. A lot of reactions from this one, and one of the things I want to let people know, just how I watch the games. So when people send me text messages throughout the game, I get a little nervous. But most games I don't watch 100% live. So I'll use YouTube TV, and I will probably have maybe like a 30 to 45-minute delay, so that way I can watch the entire game. And at some point I skip through like free throws, skip through like, hey, the challenges, or anything like that, where it takes a little bit longer to get through back to the game action. So throughout the game, starting from the beginning, again, it's like a 30, 45-minute delay. Um, Two things happen. I get a text message of a meme of Haliburton with the choke from the Knicks game, and I also see Thunder Twitter in complete disarray. I just opened it up for a second and then saw just meltdown from the entire fan base, and I'm like, oh god, like, no, just don't fast forward. Don't go directly to whatever they're talking about. Just keep watching the game. And the last maybe 4 or 5 minutes of actual game action, so maybe like 4 minutes left in the actual game, is when I started to watch it live. So kind of saw everything play out the way it was supposed to at that point. And I'm glad I watched it the way I did to escape the Twitter Thunder meltdown of every single fan that said, "Oh my God, it's over. We're not gonna make it. We're screwed." I wish I can go through and just look at all of the posts that said, we're out. We're down 3-1. We have to win 3 straight. Pacers are just a better team. Better luck next year. I mean, we already kicked the can down to next year when we still had Game 5 to play. Regardless of how Game 4 went, we still had Game 5 to play. We had a shot. We had a chance, right? Until the series is over, until all 48 minutes of every single game that's possible have been played, we're still in it. Now, I felt all of that, especially throughout the third quarter, because one of the things that I said was, man, I keep seeing this graphic on the bottom left corner where we're only 1 of 11 from 3. We're only 2 of 13 from 3. And based on the math and how it looked like we were playing, I said, okay, if we're down 8, we'll need 4 to 5 possessions to get a lead. And that has nothing to do with our 3-point shot, because clearly it's not there tonight. So I was getting nervous because it didn't seem like Indiana was turning the ball over as much as we've made other teams turn the ball over the course of the entire game. And it didn't feel like we were going to be able to trade and get those possessions that we needed in order for us to come back and win the game. And it was a legit going to be 4 to 5 possessions. A 10-point game, if you're hitting threes, is less possessions. It's obviously less that you'd have to do because you're making your shots, and we just weren't making those threes. I think Caruso made one, Dort made one, and then we had the one that saved us at the very end with a few moments left to go, which we're going to get into in just a moment. Stats are pulled up, and I'll break those down in a moment because there's a couple things that are there. But somehow we pull it out, and that somehow is Shai Gilgeous Alexander. Thunder Twitter was nervous. Thunder Twitter kicked the can. I had my jersey on, took it off, put it back on because I was just like, oh my goodness, like if we got this far to lose the same way 4-1 as we did to the Heat, it's going to be a constant cycle of us having a trio of young stars that can just never really put it together and win the title. And it was also going to be interesting because if we had lost last night, it would have been a cycle of us potentially only winning one game in every NBA Finals that we play. So we broke the streak last night, and technically, this is now the closest we have been to winning a championship when we only have 2 wins remaining. Now, to the MVP. 40 minutes, 10 for 10 from free throws. So call him a free throw merchant if you want. At the end of the day, when you get to the line, you have to make your shots. Jalen Williams, 11 for 11 for all of his free throws. But Shai down the stretch hit every clutch shot you can think of imaginable. In the last 5 minutes, he attributed for 15 of his 35 points, which not my original thought, not my post, and sorry I don't have the person to give credit to. I'll drop it in the comments if I find it. 15 points in the last 5 minutes is the most clutch points by any player since 1971 in the NBA Finals. So 15 points in the last 5 minutes. Now, the free throws were important because regardless of how you feel, how he got to the line, whatever the case is, I want any random person that watches basketball, a casual fan, whatever, pick 5 of them and tell them you have to hit 10 or 11 consecutive free throws. You can't miss any, even if you get them. Now, that's just hitting the free throws. Now, hey, I'm going to give you $50,000 if you hit all 10 of these and you do not miss. That will immediately kick in the pressure that's somewhat similar, and it probably would never even be close, but that would give you about the same pressure to know that every single one of those shots count. Every single one of them matters. You miss one, you lose $50,000. You make all 10, you make $50,000. And that still doesn't add all the pressure. So I don't want to hear the whole free throw merchant thing. I don't want to hear the whole, Shai gets all these free throw opportunities and the refs save the game. The refs called what they called, and I agree with every call that was made because there was contact. You still have to make your free throws, and he did. Now, this was the first game. I got to check this out. This was the first game I've seen where he didn't have any assists. And if he didn't have any assists, this would have been the reason why we look at the game and say this is why the Thunder lost, because he wasn't able to be a distributor like he has been throughout the season. This is the first game I think he scored over 30 with no assists at all. but still became the leading scorer with 35. Um, the biggest shot I think of that last 5 minute run, and there's two things there to mention: the 3-pointer in which he was on the wing and shot over Matherin. We went up 102 to 1. Yeah, we didn't go up. It was 102 to 103. Jalen Williams got Nimhard to come up. Matherin ended up no, not Matherin. Neesmith did the switch, and SGA finally got a clean look to hit a very clutch three. And in my opinion, if he missed that one, I don't think we win this game. And that was a absolutely clutch bomb that he had. And then our next possession or next scoring possession, he gets contact from Neesmith and does like a pirouette, fall back, gets back in rhythm. I think Richard Jefferson said something like, "Oh, he steps back into another time zone," and drains a masterclass too. And then obviously the free throws throughout the rest of the way. And we almost gave up a turnover on an inbound that could have gotten the Pacers back in the game. Until the game was over and Chet had the ball in his hands, I wasn't ready to say it was over. We got up 108, 103. We got the free throw for Shai because of the pull from the inbound that was away from the ball. So you get a free throw and possession. Until the game was over, I wasn't 100% comfortable. SGA, 35 points, 3 steals, a block over Haliburton, 3 rebounds. Just enough of a game that we need in order to win. Jalen Williams has heard all of your comments. He's understood the assignment, and if he starts to play like this the rest of the way out, we have the best shot we're going to have to win the championship. 27 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and then Chet Holmgren. I hope his ankle's all right because I know he rolled it early in the first quarter, but he played the rest of the way through and got a double-double for us, 14 points and 15 rebounds. Now, getting into the stats of everything, right? So one of the things I noticed last night was a great coaching call by Mark Dagnall. And I have to give him credit for this because I hadn't even noticed this in the game until the last 5 minutes. So Nimhard has not completely neutralized SGA, but he has made it a lot harder for him to do his thing. And the fact that the last 5 minutes came down to him scoring 15 points, well, wasn't Nimhard on him the entire game? So how did Nimhard get 15 points scored on him? Or obviously he went to the line for some. How did Nimhard just go from having a defensive masterclass for 3.5 quarters, and all of a sudden give up 15 points, give up 35 points? Well, one of the adjustments that were made, which I don't know how we didn't catch this earlier, but if Nimhard is on SGA the whole time, play the switch. And every possession, it seems like from that last 4 minutes on in actual game time, it was SGA would come down with the ball, Nimhard would guard him. They would have Neesmith, I think, or Matherin. Neesmith or Matherin. I'm pretty sure most of the time it was Neesmith, though. Neesmith would come up during a screen and roll. SGA would get the switch. Williams would kick the ball back to SGA. Now you have a mismatch because Nimhard knows how to guard SGA. Neesmith and Matherin not as much. So Neesmith started getting cooked, and then I think he fouled out. Somebody fouled out. I can't remember exactly who. But we started switching everything, and Nimhard couldn't catch up to get back to SGA because of the switch. And that's when SGA started to have his resurgence. So I'm going to expect to see more of that happening where we switch everything, and the Pacers are going to have to find a way to switch back to get SGA back to being frustrated. But now that we've seen that happening, I think we're going to notice more switch offs. And I believe SGA didn't miss a single shot in that last 5 minute period because he finally felt free from Nimhard. Even though he got past half court, he was switching everything and had lesser defensive matchups throughout the last portion of that 5 minutes, which helped him out. Um, and I know I was one of the people that were on Twitter, X, whatever you call it now. I know I was one of the people that said Hartenstein needs to play more minutes. I posted that Hartenstein had 17 minutes in the had 17 minutes in game 1 and game 3 when we had the two losses, and now in game 2 and game 4, if he plays 20 minutes or more, we win the game regardless of his stat sheet. He played 21 minutes in game 4, he played 22 minutes in game 2. We won both of those games. So maybe that rotation made sense for us to go back to our starting lineup, which I did in fact post that as well. Go back to Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, SGA. And look at that. It all worked out. So another person too to talk about, Alex Caruso, 20 points, 20 points, 5 steals, 3 rebounds. Look, this is the definition of a team because even Kenrick Williams had a little bit, had a couple rebounds, had a couple good passes, a clutch rebound, if I think so, and just had a really good game overall. Um, Top to bottom, this is what we're gonna need to do for game 5 and game 6. And I think the Thunder can go out and win 3 straight and win this back in Indiana and just say, hey, we're done with it. We got our championship. We'll celebrate when y'all get home. But a lot of great things from the Thunder overall from this game. And briefly, obviously, to look at want to look at the Pacers. Um I expect more from the stat sheet because it's like, all right, how do I say this? They're really a great deep team. And the only person that didn't play that had been playing in the rotations the last 3 games was Thomas Bryant. Everybody else has been pretty good. TJ McConnell coming off the bench has been the spark that is necessary, that just plays with so much hustle, so much speed, and it's hard to lose him. I actually thought he would play more minutes, but you got to get your starters out there. Um, Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, if we lost last night, would have been one of the reasons I'm talking about why we might have been out of the series, because he hit 2 clutch 3s, one in the corner, and it just seems like that's the shot we always keep giving up. Um, but I also look at Siakam and Haliburton, and I know they're stars. I know they're solid players, but only having 38 points between your top 2 players, it's crazy to see how we were losing the entire game and we ended up winning because it's not making sense to me that we were down 10, we won by 7 with some free throws and obviously some clutch buckets at the end, but this was the result of why we were worried and scared and have been for game 1 and game 3 and almost game 4 when we were down 10. But you're looking at it and it doesn't necessarily show you the entire story, because defensively they were swarming us. They were doing the full court, running us at 94 feet. It looked incredible. But this is all it resulted to. You had 4 players over double digits, 1 player over 20, to where if you look at the Thunder, you had 27 points from Williams, 14 points from Chet, 35 from from Shai, 20 from Caruso, which I would obviously want that to spread out a little bit more, but we're still here. Game 4 is won. Series is tied 2-2. Just to recap again, Oklahoma City wins game 4, 111-104. Series tied going back to Paycom for game 5. SGA MVP, 35 points, no assists, 3 steals, 3 rebounds, leads all teams at players. Again, 15 points in the last 5 minutes, most by player, most by a player in the finals in the last 5 minutes of scoring with 15 points. Alex Caruso and Jalen Williams with 20 and 27 respectfully. 20 points for Pascal Siakam, 18 points for Tyrese Haliburton as we move into game 5. Ultimately, I want to say again, thanks to all the Thunder fans on X, Twitter, that posted, that clicked over the link, that saw these reaction videos. We'll have more that are coming with the weekend coming up. Game 5 is not till Monday. So if you can, please, as always, I greatly appreciate it as we're growing this channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Get this content out there as much as you can. I greatly would appreciate everything that's going on here. As we get bigger, we'll start to do some giveaways as well and just start to engage with y'all as much as possible. So thank y'all again. Greatly appreciate it. Thunder up, man. Let's go get this win in game 5 and try to close this out back at Indiana for game 6. Y'all have a good one.